This is what I don't get. It's not a live stream. You know people are going to yell at you. You have the opportunity to cut it out. I know it sounds cliche almost to say where it's like it takes $0 not to say a slur, but like it kind of does. We'll do the KSI saga in a second, or I guess we can start out with the KSI drama real quick. I got a lot of thoughts on this. KSI in the latest Sidemen video apparently said the P word, which is a slur in England. It's a slur in general, but like Americans don't know about it across the board. For those of you who don't know, no, it is it's a shortened version of Pakistani, but it is used as a slur. Okay? In England, the shortened version of Pakistani is a slur. And it's actually a very common slur, for the record. Like, literally, every brown person has been called it. It's like the N-word for brown people in England. And I guess, like, Commonwealth areas as well, maybe. Yeah, it's Pakistani minus the Stani, exactly. So, I have even said that. I've talked about it before when how shocked I was to find out that it's like considered a slur. But KSI and the Sidemen are in England, so they do know better, right? It's a hyper specific, very British slur, but like it's hard to describe. For example, I was working out this morning with an English kid who lives in America. He's of Indian descent, and he immediately knew what we were talking about. No one else understood it because everyone else was American, but he was like, oh yeah. Like, I don't know how to describe the power of it, but other than just saying that it is basically the N-word for every brown person. So, people in Pakistan don't even know the meaning, Lamau. Yeah, this is a specific British or European slur, okay? As a West Brit, if you aren't white, that's what they call you, yeah. Apparently, I'll explain it like this. The P word is a slur for brown people in countries where they call Indian and Pakistani people Asian, okay? The colonies, the Commonwealth. Because, like, in America, we don't do that. That's why you never even, like, you don't even understand. If you're from a country where you do not classify, which, by the way, is not an incorrect classification, for the record, but if you're from a country where you do not classify Indian people or Pakistani people as Asian, you probably did not know that this was a slur, but it is. Okay. So, most people say South Asian? Sure. Bro, in Pakistan and India, it's normal as fuck. We use it in my family too. Yes. I would go so far as to even say in the United States of America, most people don't know and might have thought that it was like a shorthand slang and not like a considered a slur. Okay? Anyway, what do you mean America considers India and Pakistan and Asia? Yes, but usually Americans do not colloquially classify people from Pakistan and people from India as Asian or South Asian designation. They will just say Indian, as though it's like almost a separate race. This is a fascinating phenomena. None of what I'm saying is like objectively, none of what I'm saying is like the correct terminology. I'm simply describing to you the way that these words or these terms are colloquially used in different countries. Okay? Now, the reason why I mention all of this is because I have a pretty big American fan base, so they would not even understand it. Does that make sense? That's why I qualified it like 11 times before we got fully into the story, because it's like, it's not something that they will understand. Okay? It is, in fact, a shorthand slang in South Asia and is very commonly used in Hindi, Urdu. Very common to hear the P word in cricket player. Not meant to be malicious. Lol, you might be the only person that has to speak so specifically. I don't mind explaining things with specificity because this is my job. If I was just simply going through it and I was just like looking at the story, I would just be like, oh, well, I don't know. But I want people to understand. Because if I just dove right into it, people would have looked at it and gone, what? What's wrong with that? So I'm taking the initiative. People are still going to say that regardless.
Look.
So here's the clip from the Sidemen video.
We need points in it, all right? I don't mean this maliciously, but the word. Sorry, I'm sorry. Look, we need points. I don't. Guys, come on.
Nah, KSI, you're not funny, man. You can't say the P word in any context. These lot will do anything for content. So here's the thing. Here's what I don't understand. Bro, why did you keep that? Why did you keep that in the drafts? This isn't a live stream. This is what I don't get. It's not a live stream. You know people are going to yell at you. Like, you have the opportunity to cut it out. Like, what the fuck? Like, ultimately, I think, like, do I know anything about KSI? Do I think that it's like, it's something that he says all the time, or like he hates brown people or some shit like that? No, I don't think so. Not from what I've seen from him. It seems like he's not. He's like he's edgy, but not like so far out there like super racist. It more so almost feels like he just utilizes it as an opportunity. He like deployed it as a way to get a fucking boost. You know what I mean? It's just not worth it though. It's like one of those things where it's literally not worth it. Yeah, Tummer also pointed this out, which is smart, which is that what people should be thinking about is how that video got through filming and editing, presumably with multiple people seeing it to be published. Probably should have stopped to think what saying a racial slur and having all your mates laugh would look like. Like, that's what I don't get. That's what I don't understand. Because, again, if they were all American and they said this, it wouldn't even be in the same context because people would be like, What's wrong? Why are people yelling at us? You know what I mean? Because like it's not the same for sure. It's not like a commonly known slur in America, right? So for Americans, you're not going to get it. You're not going to understand it. In Indian and Pakistani communities, it is used as slang and not in a malicious context, but in the UK, it has a history of being used as a derogatory term. Exactly. So either nobody cared or they said it, and it's fine leaving it on purpose, in my opinion. Big Star sitting right there too. Yeah. I think KSI is definitely racist and you are looking like a fool for defending him. I am not defending KSI. I don't care. I don't know KSI. I don't even understand why he said it or why he left it in the fucking video. I'm actually saying that like this is an unacceptable thing, which he also recognizes. But if you recognize that now, why didn't you just like take it out? So I've already moved beyond the very obvious aspect of this that's like unacceptable, because it is kind of akin to like one of the white dudes in the Sidemen basically popping off with the N-word or something, right? Why did they delete the whole video and not just cut it out? Why didn't they just not publish that part? This is what I don't understand. Like that, like this isn't a live stream. How does this happen? This is what I don't get, because like on a live stream, sometimes people fucking say something that gets misconstrued, or sometimes people pop off, like at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and you fucking pop right off, right? Like, I don't understand why both of these dudes are like, they just have this weird thing. I mean, Logan Paul more so than KSI, because I gave props to KSI literally last week before this shit popped off. Extra summons, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Where like You have so much going. Like, it is so incredibly easy to just not, like, get into controversy like this. Why doesn't KSI take it out? He doesn't edit the Sidemen video, someone else does? Bro, are you stupid? You're talking to someone who has appeared on other people's YouTube videos, who has YouTube videos that he cuts. Like, if I said something that could even be misconstrued, like, for example, sometimes if I'm covering something breaking, if I misspeak, right, I will tell my editors, let's take that part out. I will make mention, I will make a mental note of it. Okay? Kenji999, thank you for the 5, get the subs as well. It's just like super, I know it sounds cliche almost to say, where it's like it takes $0 not to say a slur, but like it kind of does. It kind of does take $0 or 0 fucking quid, yeah, 0 quid to not say a fucking slur. You know what I mean? Quid, bruv. What is it? I'm black, and I'm assuming this has the same energy as referring to black people as don't say it. Not as strong as the N-word, but it's getting there. No, are you black in England, or are you black in America? Because that will genuinely change the context. Because I think a lot of no, it's not like that. No, it's not. It's definitely as far as I understand, because I had this conversation in this community because I didn't know. Yeah, exactly. You're in the US, so you don't get it. I didn't know either. When I first talked about this word, I had no fucking clue it was like that. I'm sure someone will find a clip. Like Little Bear will probably find a clip of the first time we talked about it, because I was like, what the fuck? And people got very mad at me originally. I think I might have like read it in the chat or I don't know what it was. I honestly think they kept it in just because KSI is black and they thought that would be okay. Like, the thought is fine if a minority says a minority slate is very odd but very British. The P word. Like, I've talked about it before. It was literally like a learning experience for me and this community back then when we first learned about it, because it's not like a thing in America at all. Look at the analogy I gave for US viewers. Let's take a look. In India and Pakistan, we use it as a shorthand. In Britain, it's used as in dirty P words. In Britain, it's used as dirty P words or criminals and rapists, just like immigrants in the USA. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it has like it is a similar connotation to the N-word. Anyway. I'm black English. It's like the C word for Asians, but maybe a bit stronger. It was openly used by Pakistanis a lot more than the N word was used for black kids in school. Yeah, it's almost seen as like a more appropriate slur to say. It's obviously inappropriate, but like I think a lot of people consider it to be. I think a lot of people like feel less afraid of like blasting it out there than they would of like saying the N word. You know what I mean? What's the C word? For Chinese people. Shorten that and you will understand. Not cracker. I just thought it was short for Pakistani the longest time. Yeah, Americans don't really know that it is a slur, like straight up. I'm sure if you're British, this is like hard to imagine, especially if you're brown and you've like heard it. If you've had it deployed against you, like weaponized against you, it's like very hard to recognize that it is like completely, like Americans are completely oblivious to it, which is why I talked about it a lot. The P word, the Pakistani racial slur, a common misconception is that it's shortened version of Pakistani, similar to the word Scot for Scottish people. The P word is a deeper and darker meaning. Violent attacks from the 1960s to the 1990s against South Asians were also known as P-word bashing. The attackers were supporters of the far-right fascist, racist, and anti-immigration movements, e.g. BNP and the National Front. For those of you who don't know, it's like the fucking EDL, right? EDL, like the English Defence League, right? Fucking hell, we're talking defending England, right? We're talking Islamic ray guns, all right? Fucking hell. Supported by the British media's anti-immigrant and anti-Pakistani rhetoric and by systemic failures of British authorities. These attackers were formerly known as P-word bashers and skinheads. During 1955 alone, there were around 20,000 racist attacks on British POC, mainly P-word bashing. Talking about going to the P-word shops or calling others dirty P-word is a reminder of the suffering our parents and grandparents had to endure, the suffering that we still endure. It's part of a little British culture, right? Fucking hell. We're just having a bit of banter, lads. Doing a little bit of British culture here, innit? Anyway. The White House had to apologize? Wait, what? That's awesome. I had no idea. See, there is literally no better demonstration that Americans don't know about this than this. President George Bush's fractured command of international nuance landed him in yet more trouble yesterday as Pakistanis protested over his casual use of the abbreviation P word, which is widely regarded as an offensive epithet. There you go. There is no better demonstration that like Americans don't know what like the slur connotations than this. It's also the funniest story because like George W. Bush is a horrible monster and it's like unsurprising. For Japanese people is very close to it. I feel like this is not commonly deployed though. So I don't know. I feel like that's like I don't think this is something that people say any longer. You know what I mean? That's like Gran Torino shit. So I don't know if you could, like, it's definitely something you hear from your fucking grandparents or Clint Eastwood or something. You know what I mean? Like, you're not, like, it's vintage racism. You know what I mean? Military dumbfucks love saying it still, even if they were born in 2002. Yeah. Whereas, like, nowadays it's not so commonly deployed, so it's weird. Whereas, like, the P word is commonly deployed in England still, I think. Anyway, in Massachusetts, it's an old saying, going on a P word run, because liquor stores used to be called package stores, but no one really uses it anymore. Yeah. This is like when I found out your last name is a slur. Yes. Piker. If it's considered pikey, is a slur because it's like it's a form of Irish travelers from famously from Snatch, Brad Pitt's character. Okay. What does piker mean in Turkish though? It has no meaning. My grandfather chose it. Okay. So yeah, he said that. Here you go. And then yeah, again, this is what's like so confusing to me is not necessarily that he said it, because like him saying it is weird, right? Especially as a British person, it's like very odd that he thought that it wouldn't be like that big of a deal to just fucking deploy it. There's literally a brown dude in the Sidemen, Vic Star, right? So that's also like odd. Like he's just saying it right in front of him. So that part is odd as well. And you know, they're like homies. So but like there are so many moments where they could have just, you know, avoided this controversy entirely by just not uploading it. You know what I mean? Like cutting that part out. And I don't know. By the way, we don't say brown people in the UK. Yeah, but I'm not in the fucking UK, am I? I'm not in the fucking UK, innit? Right? We're in fucking America. That's right. I say fucking brown people. Right? I'm not fucking British. I know I sound very British sometimes, so it's understandable that you're confused, my friend. But I am not British. Anyway, it's Monday, innit? Yes, it is. Innit does not make sense. Why not? Why is saying colored people bad but not people of color? Because it's just super out of touch. Language evolves always, right? Language always evolves. And now when you say colored people, you sound like you're a fucking racist from like 1965. It's the difference between blacks and black people. You know what I mean? Even people of color is like, depending on the context, can come across like a little out of touch. Yeah, identity first versus like person first language, I guess, is the proper term for it. Vic is Indian though, not Pakistani. Oh yeah, totally. Famously, Indian people are never called the P word in England. Because when when British people, like British racists, deploy a slur, they will always go, "Where are you from, lad? Are you from Pakistan? Are you from India? Let me know so I can use the proper fucking racist term against you." Is that what you think is going on? What are you, fucking stupid? The first person in the immediate aftermath of 9/11 that was murdered in a hate crime, in an anti-Muslim hate crime, was not a Muslim man. He was a Sikh man, okay? In Texas. Yeah. A lot of people like to say Islamophobia is not racialized, but of course it is. Of course it's racialized. It's just like any and every person that's like a little bit remotely brown. Okay, that's it. Your coverage of this slur was much more appropriate and considerate this time, and I much appreciate that. Yeah, because when I first learned about it, I didn't even know it was a slur. Because as well-traveled as I am, like, I am still, you know, an American idiot in many respects. Or a Turkish idiot in many respects. So when I first found out that it was like a slur, I didn't even fucking know that it was. It was like shocking to me. You know what I mean? Trump is landing right now.
In the night, emblazoned with his name in gold there in downtown Manhattan. Also, you can see kind of from the concourse.
We'll talk about Trump's landing in a second. Let me just finish off this KSI thing. The Sidemen said, during yesterday's Sidemen Sunday, a racial slur was said during the video. We accept that it was completely unacceptable and inexcusable. The fact that the incident made light of on the show was wrong and compounded the hurt. We deeply regret this and would like to truly apologize. We've reflected on this incident both collectively and individually and are truly ashamed that we let ourselves and you guys down in this way. Want to use our channels to promote positivity and great entertainment. We stand against racism and discrimination of any kind, and we failed to do that. Again, we are truly sorry and promise to do better. But yeah, contextually, I don't know why they were doing that. I don't know why they were doing the slur thing. Such a classic farce. Yeah, this is like an old YouTube classic too. I want to apologize for saying a racial slur in a recent Sidemen video. No excuse, no matter the circumstances. I shouldn't have said it, and I'm sorry. I've always said to my audience that they shouldn't worship me or put me on a pedestal because I'm human. I'm not perfect. I'm gonna mess up in life, and lately I've been messing up a lot. So I've decided I'm going to just take a break from social media for a while. That's what KSI's take was. And the thing that I don't understand about any of this is, like, again, Prime is popping off. The Sidemen make great content overall across the board. It makes no sense. Like, it just makes no sense to just, like, deploy that and not stop it before it goes out. I don't get it. What is this? The most commonly used slur against Indians in the U.S. is either wait, what? Really? I've never, bro. That is some fucking next level racism. When I find out, about a new slur, I'm like, damn, I didn't even fucking know people were saying that. More in Silicon Valley because they know Indians better, I guess. Or sand N-word, confusing us for Middle Eastern homies. American racists are too dumb to get the racism right. Well, the thing is, racists oftentimes are very indiscriminate with their racism. This is a fun little phenomena that I love to talk about, where they don't know exactly what kind of race you are to do the racism. They just know what you're not. And what you're not is white, right? So in that circumstance, it's kind of just like, whatever. I'm just gonna deploy whatever slur I can here, that kind of thing. So, but the point I was trying to make here is that, like, the point I was trying to make here is that, you got so much Is roach a slur considered towards Turkish people? Not really. Like, it's just because it doesn't have, like, common usage outside of, like, the sweatiest, nerdiest, weirdest fucking 4chan circles. So it's not like you usually, you don't really hear about it in the real world. Like, I've never, you know what I mean? It's just like, that's more so like an internet forum type thing. Like, if you know to call like a Turkish person a roach, you're probably like in Balkan forums or on fucking 4chan. Like, you don't usually spend a lot of time outside in the real world anyway. I've never encountered it. You know what I mean? That'd be real odd. Wait, are there no slurs for Turkish people? The Greeks fell off, to be honest. I don't know. I guess you'd have to go to Germany. No one calls Turks roaches in the Balkans, Lamau? No, of course not. I'm saying Balkan posting, like you're in Balkan for you, the forums and shit. Does that make sense? Me and my friends are from EU, and we always called Turks roaches, and we never used Reddit, etc., so I don't know about that. I like how comfortable this guy is to be like, I'm actually like, no, like, you don't get it. I am racist. Like, like, I'm over here being like, no, it's not really something that people use in the real world. And this guy's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I do actually use it as a racist pejorative. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and assume that given the fact that you're on Twitch, you're probably a little bit more online than the normal person. You know what I mean? No. You said it wasn't a slur. No, I mean, it's only utilized by people like that are like, oh, it's a slur. So if you're asking me if it's a real thing, no. Not in the real world. It's just like extremely online people. Kanake is something like the N-word for Turks in Germany. What does that even mean? What is Kana? Is that how you say it? I don't fucking know. Yes, is used in a similar way. No, calling someone a roach is honestly, fortunate users wish they could be as racist as people from the Balkans. Yeah, they LARP as people from the Balkans when they're like literally from Iowa. You know what I mean? I've never heard anyone use it unironically outside of 4chan, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. It's just like, it's one of those words where, like, if you use it in any context, like, you basically immediately give the game away that you're an extremely online sweaty loser, you know? Anyway, so whereas like the P word in England is like very commonly deployed by like racists in the world, racists out and about, you know what I mean, towards every brown person.
And finally, no, you can't say the word Paki. It's not just shorthand for the word Pakistani. If you don't like that, do me a favour, build a time machine, go back a few decades, and stop the racist thugs from screaming that word at Sanjay whilst they kicked his little head in. And finally,
Like, yes, you are racist, but also a chronically online loser. Yeah, exactly. Which is worse than like a racist that touches grass in some ways. You know what I mean? Like, you're a racist that doesn't even touch grass. Kanake is an actual slur, but I've never met a Turk who felt actually insulted by it. Usually they're only offended by the intention behind it. I've never heard it before. A juicer just called you a roach in my messages. Well, I mean, again, they're juicers. They spend all their time on the internet. Most of you guys spend all your time on the internet too, but at least you're not like racist, I guess. So that's good for the most part. I've seen a lot of people in Excuse Chat use the cockroach emote when you're on stream. Yes, bro, because they're fucking 14-year-olds, or even sadder than that. They're like actually older adults that watch XQC and fucking, I don't know, they spend a lot of time in these forums. That's it. And they think that it's like edgy. I don't really care, to be honest.